Hello, everybody, and welcome to Feature Focus, a monthly changelog stream. My name's Andrew. I am so excited to be back with you. I realize we're about a week outside of our kind of normal Feature Focus time, but I'm excited to be back. We had an amazing September, super busy September as well. But so many features came out that I'm so excited to share with you and show you and kind of walk through. But as always, Feature Focus is not just about talking about features, but it's also about featuring some of the amazing members of the DevCycle team. And so today, I'm so excited that making his DevCycle Twitch debut is Anthony. I'm going to play Anthony on stream now. Anthony, how is it going today, sir?
It's going fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome. I just discovered that so not only I'm having a great day because of this stream and because I get to stream with you, but I also discovered that Chrome on the newest update to Mac OS has this really cool background lighting feature camera thing, and I'm here for it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm having a great day. How is your day going?
Honestly, it's going fantastic. You mentioned Chrome. I'm fully on Arc now, so I've converted.
You've moved over to Arc.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like half of our team has.
Say again?
I feel like half of our team has done that exact same thing.
Yeah. We all know who was responsible for it.
We all know who's responsible. The great and powerful Vic, who has been on stream before. Hopefully he's watching the stream today. I actually have Arc on this computer installed that I've barely opened it. But yeah, Anthony, thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's been kind of a busy Friday to start things off for you, but yeah, I know we've talked about this before, but I want to kind of just walk people through what this stream is all about before I kind of turn things over to you to introduce yourself. So Feature Focus, if you've never been here before, it's a monthly live changelog stream. So we will take a deep dive into some exciting things that have happened over kind of the previous month. This month, I guess, we're going to be talking about self-targeting. We're going to be talking about some of our UI updates. We're going to be talking about our biggest update, I think, in a really long time, our VS Code extension. We've also, if you stick around till later in the stream, we've got a little bit of a gift card giveaway. You can find out a little bit more about that. And then we might even give you a bit of a sneak peek into some exciting upcoming things that are going on. Anthony and I are actually going to be somewhere pretty exciting a little bit later in the fall. So in early November, we're going to be going somewhere pretty cool. We might sort of hint where that's going to be today. But this is always the part of the show where I turn things over to our guests while I do a kind of a quick tech check. But Anthony, how about you maybe do just a little introduction to yourself, like who you are, your background, what you do at DevCycle, and then perhaps for anybody who's never been here before, what DevCycle actually is. So what this whole thing is all about. So I'm gonna put you front and center. I'm gonna jump over and do a little tech check. And yeah, take it away.
Sure. So my name is Anthony. I'm a account manager here at DevCycle. Before DevCycle, I was running my own startup. I was an iOS developer there. Did a little bit of React as well, and JavaScript. So today we're going to run through a React app we put together to walk through some of the features that we built in DevCycle for September. We're going to focus on simple self-targeting or just self-targeting, the VS Code extension, which is huge. And yeah, overall, DevCycle is a feature management platform tailored for developers to essentially control which features users of their platform are capable of seeing. And they can also do experimentation in the platform to let developers know how impactful their features are once things get pushed to production.
I love it. That was fantastic. All the audio is working. I got to actually listen into a little bit of that. Now, I totally forgotten that you were an iOS developer. Do you miss being in the code every day?
Do I miss it every day? There was definitely a sense of accomplishment, when you'd run into a bug and be able to fix it, and that eureka moment. I don't know if I miss it. It was very stressful. Like when I was doing it full time, it was for the startups, and our team is really lean, right? So it's very, very different from things here. Like we have a fantastic team. There's so many people that are like experts with iOS. I didn't have anybody to turn to. It was Stack Overflow and whoever else I could get in my network to help me with things. So short answer, no, I don't miss it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I feel it though. It's also interesting. We've got a lot of mobile developers on the team that are not doing development anymore. I think Vic was an Android developer for a really long time. So I feel like there's a future of does it toggle? Anthony versus Vic, Android versus iOS, non-developer developing. There's a stream.
Yeah, I wonder, even if he was an Android developer, I wonder if he prefers iOS devices. I have to figure that out.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Vic, if you're watching the stream or if you catch the VOD afterwards, the question is out there for you. So amazing. Thanks for that introduction. That just amazing. So now I always forget about these banners, but I'm going to use them today. So now is the part of the show where we jump into things. So we're going to start to explore some of the exciting features that have come out in the month of September. And I feel really bad. I think who did I have on? I had Kenny on last month, and it was kind of a quiet summer for us. And so Kenny walked through some cool things and did like an exceptional job. But I feel like, Anthony, you have lucked out on just like a really, really good month of cool features that have come out on the DevCycle platform, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, where should we begin?
So let me share my screen. I'll quickly walk through a project I've set up in DevCycle. And then we can walk through the first feature I want to cover today, which is self-targeting. So let me just do that. Give me a sec. Cool. Let me know when you can see this project set up.
All right, you are up there.
Hey, awesome. Cool. So yeah, so essentially I have a feature set up in here. I know it says mobile app redesign at the top, but really it's a web page redesign. And I have all my variables in here to control what users are seeing in each one of my environments. So the three environments I have set up is development, staging, and production. In the web application, I have a button here that can toggle between staging, production, and back to development. And essentially it's just giving me different variations of those variable values and what I should be seeing in those environments. So what's really, really cool is sort of tied in now into one of the features that we built, also targeting, is before, to be able to control what variation I would get assigned, I'd have to go here into users and targeting rules. Now, since this is just a project for myself, right? But you can imagine if this was something in production, this would be really, really terrifying to be able to modify targeting rules for people like all over the world. So one of the things that we heard from our clients is that they would love to have like their own sort of separate space where they can control what variations are assigned to them in each one of these environments with absolutely no chance of them messing up something in production, right? Messing up the target rules in production.
100%.
They were so terrified actually that they specifically asked to hide these targeting rules. So that's one of the UI improvements that we built in. So you can actually just hide all these targeting rules, so you don't have to see them when you jump in. If you're a developer in a QA environment and you only care about modifying rules for your own targeting, like you can just jump in here, the self-targeting section right here. When you click Manage Self-Targeting, you can assign yourself a unique user ID. I've called it AS and my last name, and that's essentially what I'm providing in my app as in my user object, right?
Gotcha.
So that's how DevCycle knows to target myself. So right now, let's take a look at what I'm assigning myself in the development environment, for example. So right now I'm getting the Canadian version of my website. We're actually going to call that just for everything to make sense. So yeah, I'm giving myself a Canadian version of the app. As you can see right here, it says you're in Canada. So if I wanted to modify this and assign myself a different variation, I would have to come here and modify targeting rules. But again, if this is a production project, you don't want to mess with this. So I'm just going to hide this. I'm going to go into self-targeting for my user ID, and I want to give myself the UK version of my web application. So I'm just going to save changes, and there you go. I didn't have to modify any targeting rules in any environment that I had set up. I just went straight to self-targeting and updated my rules there. Right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That just like the fear, right? I mean, despite feature flags being this kind of like off switch for code, and like you can resolve it pretty quickly, like just the fact that now you don't have to worry about messing things up for other people, like that's so exciting. Is this being used a lot now? Like, is this being used widely? Yeah,
this is probably the most exciting launch that I've seen since being a DevCycle, because I feel like within the hour of it being launched, we saw an influx of users come in, just because we can see in our own dashboards. But not just that, we had people that were like actively willing to provide us feedback through like product interviews and things like that. So that was really, really cool. So yeah, the fear is definitely real, and it was definitely a big pain point to see that kind of reaction, right?
I'm so curious. I hadn't realized that that UI enhancement to hide the targeting rules was related to this whole process. Like fear is a big motivator for this, especially I mean, because I think so many people out there, if you're new to kind of feature flagging as a whole, this is a really popular tool set to use, and a great use case is experimentation. So you want to try something out, you want to try a new feature, it could break things. And so there's a lot of fear that like it could break things, and you kind of don't, well, it's okay to break things in production. Your boss may not agree that it's a great thing to break things in production. And especially if you're in QA, right? Like you're trying to go through the process of making sure these things work. So I absolutely love this. Now also, sorry, go ahead.
I'll touch on that just really quickly. So in DevCycle, we have roles, right? Organization roles to be able to control who actually has the ability to change things in production. The interesting thing is that some organizations actually don't want that. They actually want to give their engineers full access to be able to push things to production, which is kind of mind blowing to me that they give their developers, every developer, that kind of like level of trust. But at the same time, you still need some sort of safeguard, right, to make it easier for them to not mess things up. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting too, because everything is so fast, everything's real time. And I know partially it's because you're using the React app, and there's this real time update feature exists in our React app. So you can see that things happen really quickly there. But yeah, I mean, even in these situations where you have that really fast ability to respond, having this ability to do things in a safe, even safer environment, right? Like this is a safety net for the safety net. This is the secondary safety net underneath the first safety net if it fails.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Now I also have a question for you, and this is a big question. Every time I do one of these streams, I like to put developers or former developers on the spot. So I noticed you were using TypeScript. Are you, Anthony, a TypeScript fan, or are you a TypeScript? I don't know, what's the opposite of fan? Do you hate TypeScript and you just used it because it was provided? What is your feeling on TypeScript?
So I honestly have no strong opinion because I haven't used it enough. The app I have running is a sample app that we have as part of our docs at DevCycle, just to get people started really, really quickly. So when I dived in, I had no knowledge. It's not that different from things I was already doing, like JavaScript. So I honestly have no strong opinions. As long as I was able to get it to work, I like it.
This was my clever segue to mention to people that are watching the stream. If you're like, oh, DevCycle, this is cool, I want to try out this simple self-targeting stuff. We actually have a ton of example apps that are available for you to go and try out right now. Do all of them work perfectly? No, we're constantly changing and evolving things. So go and check them out. If you go to, Anthony, can you go to Docs? Just so people can see where they could find this stuff. So yeah, you can just click on that button up there. If you go to Docs and you actually go to, I think it's under, it's under the examples tab. So on the examples on the left-hand side, you can actually get example apps for Next.js, React, like all of these things are available there. Super simple, just go in, spin this up, and you can try out feature flags in your project really, really easily. Most of these things will run in like code spaces. So you can literally just open this up in a code space and it'll run, and you just add the SDK key in there and you're good to go. There's a pretty talented, suave, debonair developer relations advocate who did a quick start video on some JavaScript ones. So if you find him, make sure you give that video a thumbs up. But lots of documentation, and the whole team is here to support too. So yeah, you can check out this stuff. If you want to try out what Anthony just did, you can literally do it right now. It's so easy to go in and try these out in there. And if you dislike TypeScript or you dislike JavaScript, don't worry. We have a language for you. We have it in everything. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, with like macOS, tvOS, Flutter, Python, PHP, Ruby, Java, Go, .NET, like everything. Front end, back end, mobile. Like if there is a language that you want to try, we have it for you. And if it's not there, sorry, it'll be there soon. But you can also go over to our Discord and like throw in comments over there and say, hey, I'd really love there to be an SDK for this language, and we can see about adding that to our to our backlog and things we can do. So definitely check that out if you want to try out some of these things that you're seeing live on stream. It's there for you to use, and we want to know if things are working or if they're not. That's what we want to know from you. All right, so I love that. I love that we have self-targeting set up. I love that we can hide things from people. We can remove the fear. Now I notice here in this self-targeting that there is, and maybe you said this, like the idea that you can go in and see on your team if there's people that are self-targeting. Yeah.
So I didn't mention it, but that's really powerful too, because you can see. You can actually also confirm that the other devs, say you're all part of the same QA team, that they are testing in the same variation in the environment that they're supposed to be testing it in, right? So like if a developer comes to you and says, hey, I see this bug in this, hey, I'm not, like which environment are you in? What basically where are you testing this? And then that developer can then go and assign themselves the same conditions, right? That the developers that's dealing with the bug is, and yeah, there's just so many applications for this. It's just really, really, really cool.
I love it. Now, can you do self-targeting? So obviously from the UI, it's here. It's so smooth, like it's just butter smooth. I've never whoever it was that developed this UI, chef's kiss. Can you do this through the CLI?
I believe you can. I know for a fact you can. I'm going to refresh my memory because I only tested it when it got released, and it's been a few weeks. So I believe it's DevCycle. Do you see what commands are available? It must be DevCycle. Update. Actually, I want to check. I want to do a get first to just confirm what I'm seeing is actually right. Yeah. Okay. Update might just be. I think it's targeting. I could be wrong. If someone's in the chat, they can tell us. Because I know we have some of our devs in the chat.
Yeah, come on. If you are in chat, this is why we live stream. We're here. We want to engage with you. Throw us what we need to put into the CLI to make this work. This is the moment that I put you on the spot, and you're like, I can't actually do this. But it is possible. It is possible through the CLI. So if you're here and you're watching, check it out. I think it's also in the documentation, or if it's not, it'll be there soon. So go and check it out. Definitely worth it. But like, honestly, the UI for this is so smooth. Like I just would say, go in, try it out. And if you're a CLI stan and like you don't want to use the UI, there is documentation on all of this stuff. So you can go in and check that out. And like we said, if there's not documentation yet, check out the documentation, send us a message, let us know. But lots of stuff in there, and we're constantly updating all of these tools and documentation pieces so that you are aware and able to use all of these pieces. So, all right. So we got the self-targeting. I love that. We talked about some UI changes and us listening to people. There's another massive release that happened this month, like massive. Like this is something that we had an entire team just dedicated to. And like, I know everybody's been excited about this. What is this thing that we have all been ridiculously excited about over the past month?
VS Code extension.
There's like a small pause. There's like, oh no. Yeah, I don't know what it is either. So we released like a couple weeks ago our VS Code extension. So what does this do for you that the CLI doesn't do? Not a huge amount. I mean, we're constantly building up both the CLI and that VS Code extension. So if you're on like JetBrains or something like that, like obviously CLI is there for you. VS Code, we built this in because we believe that if you want to use DevCycle, you should never have to leave your development environment. And so the CLI was kind of step one in that, and it allows you not even to need to go into an IDE. This VS Code extension is a game changer. This is like powerful features, constantly changing for you to be able to see variables, for you to be able to see flags, variations, all of this stuff within the platform. So Anthony, like how does it work? Like what's like a rough way that works? Anyway?
Yeah. So the way I use it, honestly, it gives me a snapshot of all the information I get from the dashboard. So if I want to jump into the details for a variable that I'm curious about in terms of like where it's being used in my code, I can quickly jump to that, which is really cool. So for example, let's check out this one. Actually, let's check the React logo. Let's go to usages, React logo. And yeah, under usages here, it tells me the exact line and the file where that code is being used. I'm already on the
yeah, got it. Love that.
You don't see the navigation.
Yeah.
That's super powerful because if someone's talking about, or someone knows the variable that they're working with or the flag that they're working with, they just don't know where it's being used in their code. They don't have to scour their entire Explorer, going through hundreds of thousands of lines of code to find where we're using DevCycle. So that was really cool. There's also, what's also really cool is you get to see all the possible values for this variable. We talked about the variations that I have assigned, right, for my web app, the Canadian version, the UK version, and the US version. So I can see what the values are for each of my variables under all these variations. So again, very similar to how you saw things broken down into this table here, you get a really great snapshot of it right in your IDE, which is super powerful. It just helps you move a lot faster. You know, get a real sense of how DevCycle is used in your code. I feel like as soon as you go to the dashboard, you're kind of disconnected from code, right?
Yeah.
You see how DevCycle is being used, but you don't see where it's being used. And that context is super powerful.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to debug something, right? Just be able to see everything in one screen rather than jumping back and forth saves you a ton of time, and that's like mission critical.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that it's interesting. So one of the big things that we've been focusing on is kind of figuring out this like messaging of what is a thing that DevCycle does really well. And I think organization is a thing that we do really well. We make like, I think there was, I did a marketing piece recently and we kind of called it organized for like developer sanity.
Yeah.
And I think the dashboard does that really well, but you're absolutely right. It disconnects. And this is now like, great. I know where the usages are. I can like navigate back and forth really easily without ever leaving this tool. Like, this is so huge, like such a powerful piece of the DevCycle platform.
I really love it. The other thing that's really cool about this is that Like we have something in DevCycle called variable schemas, right? To be able to assign a variable or sort of lock in the values a variable can have, is only allowed to have.
Yeah.
So for example, I have this like link to my documentation here in the web app at the very bottom. So I created a flag in DevCycle to be able to switch out what are the allowable links that I want to provide my users for this app. So in the VS Code extension, I can see those links, right? Like what's allowed. And if I want to make a change to these variables using the CLI, so I'm staying in the IDE, at least I know what I'm allowed to change it to, right? So that was like super powerful. What I also love is before I only had a development environment and a production environment. I didn't introduce staging. I introduced staging just to kind of play around with the VS Code extension. I had the staging environment created through the CLI, but I hadn't had it implemented in my web app. And what I love is that we have this section here called environments and keys, right? So it just shows you a full breakdown of all your environments, like right here, instead of not just going to the dashboard, but then navigating to environments, because environments is in a separate page, right? Yeah. From your features and variables. So I was able to get my key for staging right here, which I needed to be able to build this button. So it makes it super easy to get information from DevCycle that you need when you're building even like UI components.
I'd love right? that. I don't know if I had fully registered that you can grab. That's probably the big, like, I think if for anybody that's used the DevCycle platform, if you're not, I think one of those biggest pet peeves is, especially when you're getting set up, finding where those keys are, because we make it really obvious where it is, but depending on kind of where you're coming into a cycle and what guide you're following, it's sometimes really hard. And sometimes you're needing to switch things out, like you're needing to change things all the time for those keys. So having that in that tab, that's so good.
Yeah, like most apps don't have buttons built out where you can switch between environments. They rely on you actually having the developer set that key for them, right? So here I have it coded so that this variable changes when I switch my buttons. Yeah. But if they don't have those buttons built, they either have to do it manually, right? Actually get their key from DevCycle to be able to switch to a production environment to test their app or whatever. And to be able to get it straight from the VS Code extension, I think is super powerful.
Yeah. Now, I do know, and I think this is a conversation that a lot of people are going to have as more and more people start using our VS Code extension. And I think that question is today, can you go in and can you change things related to your variables and variations within the extension itself? The answer for that right now is no.
That's right. But
you can through the CLI. So this is where this sort of combination of this really powerful sort of view, I think that's really what the VS Code extension does at this point, is it's kind of like giving you all the power of being able to track where flags are, but also just a quick view without having to leave there. But it's not having you needing to understand or being worried about right-clicking something and accidentally saving and changing a variation in VS Code, which is obviously a risk that I think that fear question, right, is a big one. So, but have you found that as a challenge, or has it been fairly easy to just go into the CLI and make those changes when you need to do it?
So I know what our design looks like for version 2 of the VS Code extension to be able to have write commands, not just read stuff right now. So knowing what it's going to look like, I know it'd be easier for me to be able to turn flags on and off right from the VS Code extension, which is amazing. Right now, even without that, the VS Code extension and the CLI, they work harmoniously with each other, right? So if I'm able to see the information and know what I need to change, I can just go to the CLI and quickly make that update. If I went into, for example, the CLI right now, and I tried to see what values this flag has, it would have to be a separate command run through the CLI. Right? And then if I want to update, it's another command, right? Oh, look, Vic's chiming in.
Awesome. best way to put it. Let me throw this up on here. Best way to put it, CLI will give you information of what you ask for directly. VS Code is made for you to get information of many things as you're working. You don't explicitly have to ask for it. I love that.
Exactly it. That's exactly it. So it sounds like Vic agrees. Like for me, it would be a separate command that I'd have to go through the CLI when I didn't have the VS Code extension to get information and then update it. But it just cuts that work in half, right?
Yeah. And I also, in many ways, I do kind of like this idea of like, in terms of, because we are talking a lot about like this being a safety net and feature flags really being that, it's kind of like the CLI becomes your safety net in here, right? Of like, you have to go through this step and confirmation process in the CLI. Whereas that VS Code extension is really just kind of like an extension of the dashboard within this environment, and organized in a really powerful way. So, it's just it's just like these pieces go together so perfectly, and I kind of love how fast this is all happening, because really 6 months ago we didn't have a CLI. Well, we had kind of a CLI. I think Vic had created one, but it wasn't as well structured. We didn't have a VS Code extension, and now we're moving and shaking. We're making cool stuff.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what we've been able to accomplish in September.
Yeah. What a wild month. I mean, considering it was such a quiet summer, and I think obviously people on vacation and things like that, the fact that we've kind of jumped into this really busy September, and like October is only 6 days in. So you have no idea what's going to roll out in September. We're going to talk about what might roll out in October, but so which of these is your favorite between self-targeting and the VS Code extension? Which team are you going to be on? Because they're all watching right now. So who's your favorite?
See, I personally, I feel like fear is stronger than pain. So the fear that we sort of eliminated building self-targeting, I feel is more powerful. But I think it all comes down to the type of developer you are, right? Like some developers aren't in there messing around with like user targeting and stuff like that, right? If you're a developer that just wants to code features, just wants to stay in the IDE, not have to go to the dashboard, then self-targeting might not be as, that might not be the more powerful release. It might be the VS Code extension. So what I love about what we're doing is that we're giving developers options, so that no matter what type of developer you are, you're always going to be able to find like a really, really good experience with DevCycle. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's so true. And I think this is, let me just pull both of us off here for a second. I think this is one of these things. Every feature that we create is created around a pain point. This is customers coming and saying, we need this really cool thing, or this thing that's going to make our lives better. And that's what we're here for. We're here for that developer experience. We're here for you, the folks that are using feature flags day in, day out. We want to build things that you need, that make your lives easier, that make feature flags not a thing that you're having to worry about, but an actual thing that helps you get better. Now, I also see Vic is here, and there's some paragraphs coming in here. I'm going to throw them up on here. Just kind of following up on our VS Code stuff we were just talking about. So there is going to be sort of, and for those of you who don't know, Vic is one of our amazing product managers here at DevCycle. So also past Does It Toggle and feature focused guest, and just kind of sharing some plans for the future. So we are going to have that edit and create, just needing to work out the flows. And then, this idea about kind of permissions. I think Vic makes some really good points here. And just, it's really exciting. I think everything that we're doing and the way we're doing it speaks to the needs that are out there, right? People are looking for secure environments where they can feel confident that they're not going to break things. So we built extensions that allow for that to happen. And then we're going to slowly make sure that this is as sort of a robust tool as we can possibly make it for folks moving forward. Yeah.
What I love that you mentioned is that, we're building the stuff for developers. And at the same time, since we're developers, we're kind of building it for ourselves, right? Like we use DevCycle every single day, and we use the VS Code extension and self-targeting. We use that every single day. So what I love is that we get to use what we've built, which is really cool. And because we are building like tools for developers, and we are developers, there's like a natural empathy, right? Which I really love. So when they come to us with feedback, it's like we're super motivated to build that because it's going to make their life easier, but then also our life easier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of kind of using DevCycle at DevCycle, there's this awesome article that was written by Laura, one of our engineering team leads, this was back in March, and it's actually about dog fooding. So this concept of dog fooding is like using your own product to gain a better understanding. So like we use DevCycle, we dog food. We use DevCycle as we were building DevCycle, and it's a big part. And so I'm just going to throw the link in chat. Check that out. And if you're interested in connecting with Laura and you want to know more about that, you can always find Laura over on our Discord. You can always ask Laura, or I think you can find her in other places as well. Amazing. So we've now thanks for that, by the way, Anthony. That was an awesome walkthrough.
Good segue into articles you've posted before.
It's almost like we planned this out, everybody, but we did not. No planning here. This is all off the cuff. And also loved the walkthrough of those features, and I think like combined those two, self-targeting and our VS Code extension and the CLI, like we're doing so many really cool things. Feature flags have never been so cool. Mm-hmm. So we've now reached that point in the show, which I like to call future features, where we look at the DevCycle roadmap over on Product Board and look at some of the exciting things that are coming up. So let me pull that up over here, share this tab instead. Amazing. So as I kind of go through here, you can kind of see some things that we're working on now and next. So here are some things. First things first, like these are kind of 4 projects that we're working on that will kind of be focuses for future feature focuses. So audit logging, and again, we're constantly growing these things out. So like Kobe and Vic and the rest of the product team is kind of adding more content here. But the idea here is like being able to see a feature history. So if there's a change, you can track it back to a person. Super, super important. We got SOC 2 compliance going on right now. A lot of members of our team are working on this. If you don't know what SOC 2 compliance is, then this probably doesn't matter to you. But if you have ever heard of SOC 2 compliance, then you are probably very, very excited about this. It's going to be a big game changer for DevCycle as well. Cloudflare Worker SDK. I actually don't know a lot about this. Do you, Anthony? I cannot remember about this one.
You know, I make it a point to read all of our scoping docs. I have not read this one yet.
Oh, all right. So let's see. Our user story. So as an engineer works with Cloudflare Workers, I want to be able to install DevCycle, my worker code so I can work in production. Oh, I love that. All right. So we're going to kind of we're already very big. If you didn't know this already, we're already very big in the Cloudflare space. A lot of what we do relies on Cloudflare workers. So it's a logical next step that we would be building SDKs to work with those Cloudflare workers in a more direct way. So I think that's really exciting. Not one that I've heard a lot about, but I have a feeling that this is like, it's slowly being worked on in the background. And it's going to roll out in a very cool way. And then, this last one, active features, status of features. This is one, we were actually discussing this yesterday, and this is sort of this idea of other platforms have things like stale flags, zombie flags. We're trying to figure out what that looks like on the DevCycle platform and sort of making sure that organization stuff all works. This is big. This is a big thing. I mean, I get notifications from other feature flag platforms that I'm on all the time being like, hey, this flag is a zombie flag and like you need to deal with it. And this kind of ties in a lot to some of the biggest complaints that I hear about implementing a feature flag platform, which is technical debt and adding feature flags that then end up being sorry, I saw Vic's comment there. They just end up being kind of sitting there in your code. And so what we're enabling with this new kind of change there, and I think Vic just commented on it in here, statuses to features, which is, again, super cool concept. Yeah, there's so much to come here, and all of this just to make your life easier. We want you to use feature flags. We want them to be an easy part of your life, and so that's a big piece of why we're doing that. So lots of things. So which of these kind of four are the most exciting to you right now, Anthony? Any of these kind of popping out to you as things that are like
the ones that stand out the most is probably audit logging and the done state for features. I'll talk about the done state first, because like I look at features the same way as like I would imagine like an application lifecycle, right? Like and also how features are kind of rolled out. Like I feel like developers want to be able to get a sense of like closure and completion, right? When they're trying a feature, they want to be able to see that it's done, it's rolled out, right? So that status not just helps them visually see the status of their feature, but it also gives them an opportunity to go back and do code cleanup, right? We talked about how you can introduce tech debt when you introduce feature flags, but that just comes with benefits, right, of introducing feature flags. So it's very, very easy trade-off there. But yeah, giving developers some sort of indication and help to know where to go to clean up their code is pretty cool. And then in terms of the audit logging stuff, I feel like that's going to be the most powerful once we see use cases where developers are trying to debug features, right? That could be related to a flag that they're using. Maybe someone changed something in production and they don't know what was changed, when it was changed. But if they have the audit log and they can match up timelines with when the issues started to pop up, that's going to be huge, right? Like to be able to, if we're talking like DORA metrics, the what's the one I'm thinking about? I think it's essentially the time it takes to like get back up and running, right? I think it's not.
Is it the A? We're going to say it's one of four letters. It's either
well, DORA stands for like DevOps, Dev Operations, like research assessment or something like that. But one of the metrics is essentially like your recovery time. I think it's like the recovery time. Like
right. I'm going to pull it up now. Hold on. We're going to do this.
Yeah,
DORA
sure. Let's do
metrics. Let's do it. By the way, if you are interested in DORA metrics, there is a great talk by our VP engineering. Here we go. Key DORA metrics. Let's pull this up here. Our VP engineering, Nick, who's also my co-host for DevTools and DevPools, he actually did a talk at Toronto JS recently where he talked about this. So let me pull this up here, share this tab instead. Yeah, so here are the kind of key DORA metrics: deployment frequency, lead time for changes, mean time to recovery, and change failure rate.
Yeah, so that mean time to recovery is definitely going to be improved with audit logging. And I'm sure all these other ones are going to be improved too, but that one in particular is going to be directly affected.
Totally.
Right?
And just before I forget, let's see if I can pull this up over here. Will this find us? I think we're at DevCycle HQ. There we go.
I'm Kobe Drexman.
So yeah, if you're interested in the talk that Nick gave, there is, I think I made a new playlist over here called, what did I call the playlist? Wasn't 2-minute use cases, wasn't DevCycle on display. Developer dialogues, the newest playlist. And there's this no half measures DORA metrics at DevCycle that Nick did. Check this talk out. It's really, really good. I guarantee you that you won't regret it. And if you want to learn about DORA metrics, like Nick is getting pretty practiced at that talk now. He's done it twice. And so definitely worth checking out. All right, let me start sharing again. I stopped sharing for a second. Share screen. Let's go here. All right, so personally, I'm most excited about SOC 2. If only I'm excited about SOC 2 because I share an office with one of the members of our foundation team who's been working on it, and I know that Jamie and Rob and Chris have been working really, really, really hard on this, and this is like big thing. And so I'm like super excited that this is on track and it's moving forward. I'm sure Jamie and Chris and Robert are probably very excited about it hopefully being done soon. But yeah, I think a lot of our big enterprise clients and partners are going to be really excited when that comes out too. So yeah, maybe we'll take a quick look at what's coming up next. So we've got at a glance features. I don't want to spend a huge amount of time on this, but I haven't seen all of these. Easily understand. Absolutely super important. Just being able to see what features are on and off in different environments. Lifecycle status. Notify users, state in their lifecycle. I love that. This is huge cleanup piece. So like you've not changed it in forever. So maybe it should be marked as permanent. I love that. Automatic variable creation. Man, there's some cool stuff in here. I want to be able to create a variable in my front end code and have it reflected in the dashboard without having to commit. Oh, these are so cool. Open feature support. Huge open feature. If you've never heard of them, I'm going to pull that up quickly. Open feature is it's a standard for feature flagging. We are part of it, part of the ecosystem. Where are we hiding in here?
Oh, you just missed it. Did
I miss it?
Yeah,
oh, there we go. DevCycle. We actually have a DevCycle provider for our JavaScript. SDK. So like, click here. I think it'll bring us over here. Yeah, there we go. But huge. So like that's really exciting that we've got all of this stuff going on. And then SSE connectors for local bucketing. What is SSE? I have no idea. Anybody in chat? What does SSE stand for? Server-side events. Server-side events. I knew that. This is real time. This is enabling real-time changes in all of our server-side SDKs, I think. Yeah, I love that. Awesome. All right. And then we've also, who's on there? Server sent event. Thank you, Vic. And then what's on later? Holy moly, this is getting populated. Like, I haven't been in here in a while. Install DevCycle via the @CLI. Self-serve Okta, SAML. Some of this stuff's been in here for a while, and this is a brand new one. I think this was just added like a couple weeks ago. Linear integration. So if you've never used Linear, Linear is a like a platform kind of like Jira, yeah. Oh my goodness, there's some cool stuff in here. I'm very excited for the next couple months of feature focuses because it's just getting more and more fun. Yeah. Any of these sticking out to you, Anthony? Any of these?
For me, I think it's automatic variable creation. Again, it's the ones that impact me the most as I'm coding. All this other stuff is going to impact me, but it's kind of happening in the background too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's gonna be big. Like whatever gets me to code quicker.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about.
I love that. All right, so we've reached the point in our stream. We're almost at the end. We got about 7 minutes left, but this is the part of the stream where I always like to kind of focus on feature requests. So maybe you have an idea for a new feature for the DevCycle platform. You're like, where can I submit my feature request? So there's two places that you can do this. I'm going to talk about them in order for a specific reason. The first one is here in the product board, and you can always find this link. I'm just going to throw it in chat. It never changes. It's bit.ly/DevCycle roadmap. You can visit that link, and that's actually going to bring you to this area here. And you can see this big blue button that says submit idea. You click that. You can submit your idea here, add your email address in here. You'll be able to track whenever there's been a change in there. And so super powerful. Also, if you see an idea that's in here and you're like, oh, I love this, you can upvote it. So you can like go in here and I can be like lifecycle status detection. Maybe that's really important to me. Just click important. Why do you need to add your email address? And then you'll get notified as this kind of progresses through the roadmap. So that is the first place that you can go and make suggestions on the DevCycle platform. The other place is, give me just 1 second. I'm just going to do a screenshot. Let me full screen that for a second and then go over here. This is always the fun part of this. All right, can I make this happen? Stop screen share, start screen share screen, window. This one? No, hold on. Not there. Entire screen. We're going to share my entire screen for a second and hope I don't dox myself. There we go. I think, are we seeing my Discord window?
Mm-hmm.
We should be. Awesome. So if you've got a feature request that you have, you can also throw it in here to our Ask DevCycle channel. We're gonna delete this one, delete post. This is where we've kind of moved our conversations around sort of bugs and issues and stuff like that. But you can always go in here, click new post, and you can just tag it with feature request and the team will see this. So 2 really, really great places to go to kind of make sure that you are able to get your feature ideas out there to the team. And then the great thing is you can see here 16 members of our team. Our team's only about 50 people, and so we've got like a third or more of our team that's actually in here and is ready to kind of answer your questions and to help you out. So feel free to jump in here. You can anybody on the DevCycle team at any point, and we're always here to help you. So the other thing, and I'll throw up in just a second the link to our Discord, is I always like to do a little bit of a gift card giveaway. So let me jump back over to my my window here for a second. Let's go here, and then I'm going to stop my screen share. So I always like to do a bit of a Discord giveaway in all these streams. So if you are watching and you are not employed by DevCycle or any of our subsidiaries, if we have subsidiaries, you can enter for a chance to win a Discord gift card. So far, despite the fact that I've been doing this for like 6 months or 7 months now, there's only been one person who's actually gone in and won one of these gift cards. They've only reached out to me. It's a really easy thing to do. All you have to do is go over to our Discord. I'm going to share the link right here on the banner at the bottom of the screen, bit.ly/DevCycle Discord. All you got to do is at me or at Anthony. If you at us, you will be entered for a chance to win. I have 3 of these gift cards to give away every stream. Nobody ever goes after them. Even if you catch this on a VOD and you are like, it's too late to win the gift card, it is not too late. All you have to do is add us. I will send you a gift card wherever you are in the world. You can use it on whatever you want. We use a service. It's awesome. Go on there, at us. If you're not in our Discord yet, join our Discord, bit.ly/DevCycle Discord. Join it, one of us or both of us. And if you are one of the 3 people, or if you are more than 3, then you may have a chance to win. But win a gift card on us. We want to give you a gift. That's what we're here for. We're here to just give back to the developer community. So yeah, please go on and check that out. And as well, check out our roadmap. Like I said before, bit.ly/DevCycle roadmap, where you can kind of see things that we have planned for the near future on the DevCycle platform and what's going on right now and things that are being worked on and to upvote. So lots of exciting things that are happening. Please talk to us. That's what we're here for. We want to talk to you. We want to engage with you. We want to build things that you want. And so that's why we do these streams. We want to engage with our community here on Twitch and everywhere else. So yeah, we're just in kind of the final moments of our stream now. So maybe just as part of our wrap up, Anthony, what were the features that we covered on today's stream? This is the test time. I didn't tell you there was going to be a pop quiz, but what were some of the features we covered today?
Are we going to talk about stuff in the roadmap as well, or just?
No. I feel like that's too much of a pop quiz. Just the things that you do.
That's fair. So yeah, we covered self-targeting. We covered the VS Code extension. We talked a little bit about the UI improvements in the user targeting section of our dashboard. We sort of dived into the CLI a little bit just because I needed to use it to get some information. And yeah, we talked about how the CLI actually works really, really well in conjunction with the VS Code extension, how powerful getting them to work together is. You talked about some of the cool stuff that's coming with the VS Code extension and the CLI, and there is some really, really cool stuff that's happening with self-targeting that we didn't talk about, but they'll just have to wait and see for the next stream.
Yeah. Now, these are all things we talked about. Now, I do want to do one last kind of little hint here, because I said earlier in the stream, Anthony and I are, I'm just going to pull up our X account. So Anthony and I are actually going to be headed somewhere in early November. Let me share this here. And I actually did a hint at this back a couple weeks ago, or maybe earlier this week. Oh, let's hide that. Focus mode until this evening. Yes, there we go. Where I showed this booth that is going to be our booth for an upcoming conference. I don't know if it's time to, I mean, we should be announcing soon, but this is really exciting. Anthony's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Taranay on our marketing team is going to be there. Mark, if you follow our streams, our developer evangelist, is going to be there. Emma, one of our amazing engineers, is going to be there. Jonathan and Kobe. Like half of our C-suite team is going to be at this event. It's going to be huge, and we are so excited to be here. If you've got a guess, throw it in that X channel. If you don't have X, throw it in our Discord channel. And I got another gift card. I will give you, if you guess correctly and you do not work for DevCycle, I have a gift card for you. Just guess what conference this is. I'll give you a hint. It is happening November 6th through 9th. Yeah, 6th to 9th. And it's happening in the United States. So those are your two hints. You can throw in your guess over in Discord or on X or Twitter or wherever you are at, and can follow us online. I think we're on LinkedIn with this question as well. You guess right, you get a gift card. You at us, you get a gift card. I feel like Oprah today, you get a gift card. You get a gift card. That reference is going to get lost in the very near future, but yeah, so definitely check it out. We're excited. Anthony and I have only met briefly in person. And so I'm excited to hang out with a bunch of DevCyclists. I don't know what we are yet. In person, it's going to be great. And we're excited to show some of the cool stuff that we have in our booth too, because we've got a really exciting thing that people are going to get to do at our booth. So with that, I think we're going to we've reached the end of our show. Anthony, any kind of final parting thoughts as your Twitch DevCycle debut for our wonderful viewers?
Yeah, this has been pretty awesome. It's the first time streaming on Twitch. I love talking DevCycle, obviously being a developer. It's one of the biggest reasons I joined DevCycle. I'm super amazed to see what we've been able to accomplish in September. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see what are the cool things we're going to be building in the future.
Love it. So if you, thanks, Anthony. Thank you for being here. If you have just tuned into this stream and you are saying to yourself, this sounds like it was an amazing stream. Where can I find the stream VOD of this? I'm going to upload the stream VOD here to Twitch right after. I'm then going to put it up on YouTube a little bit later today. You can actually catch every single feature focus. You can see who did it best. Starting with Kobe on our first one, or was it Anthony on our latest? You can also catch all of our other streams. We're going to be back with another stream soon. I need to get a schedule for October or November. We're either going to be back with a Does It Toggle, or we're going to be back with the Dev Tools and Dev Cools. Maybe there's going to be another DevCycle Live. I don't know, but there's going to be some content. If you're interested in checking out that content, we have a community calendar, which you can check out over in our docs, where I try and update anytime that there's a change to what we're doing online, or whenever we're going to be at an event. So be sure to check that out. I'll throw a link really quickly in our chat. It's just docs.devcycle.com. Oh, wait, not there. Let me throw it in comments. There we go. Link's right there in chat, and I just put it up on the screen, docs.devcycle.com/community/calendar. You can find it where we are. I think it might actually even tell you which conference we're going to be at in November. So be sure to check that out. Until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure to hang out with you, Anthony, as well as to hang out with all of the amazing folks that that always tune into all of our streams. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you around the DevCycle community. Bye, everybody.